All right, so French articles. I'm working on that pronunciator certificate.
Yeah.
You know, the one for articles. And honestly, I feel like they're kind of this secret code. Like they unlock the whole language. I mean, you can know tons of verbs, and nouns and all that.
Right.
But if you don't have the right article, you're basically lost.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It really is. It's like you have all these ingredients for like baking a French pastry or something.
Okay.
But you don't know the measurements.
Right.
So articles are like those essential details that just like, bring everything together and really give that authentic sound to your French.
So, okay. Big picture. I'm starting fresh. I'm opening pronunciator. How should I think about articles? What's the system?
Well, think of them as signposts.
Okay.
They kind of guide you. They guide the listener towards the meaning of a noun.
Okay.
So they tell you if you're talking about something specific, something you both already know.
Yeah.
Or if it's something general. Or even like a portion of something. And that's where you get the definite, the indefinite, and the partitive.
Okay. So first stop definite articles. I see le la and les in pronunciator. Are those basically the French the?
Yes, exactly. They point to something specific, something that you and the person you're talking to already have in mind. So let's say you're at a bakery.
Okay.
You say, je voudrais le croissant aux amandes.
Okay.
I would like the almond croissant. You're talking about a specific one. Maybe it's the one right there in front of you.
So if I say le croissant, it's like I'm pointing with my words.
Exactly.
I get it. But what about la and les? When do I use those?
So those are all about gender and number agreement.
Oh.
So in French, nouns have genders, like masculine or feminine.
Right. I've seen that in Pronunciator.
And the articles need to match. So la is for masculine singular.
Okay.
La is for feminine singular.
Okay.
And les is for plural nouns. Any plural noun. Doesn't matter the gender.
So le for masculine singular, la for feminine singular, and le for any plural. Got it. Okay. Oh, yeah. Don't forget contractions. I saw those in Pronunciator too.
A and deux.
You got it. So a plus le becomes au.
Right.
So instead of saying à la park, you say au parc.
Right. To the park.
Yeah.
Contractions. Love them. Okay, but tell me, why is all this pointing stuff so important? Like, does it really change things that much?
It changes everything. Because if you use the wrong article, it can be really confusing. Or even change what you mean entirely.
Okay.
So let's say you're talking about your friend's dog.
Right.
If you say, j'aime le chien, I like the dog.
Okay.
It means you like that specific dog. But if you say, j'aime les chiens, I like dogs.
Okay. Yeah.
It means you like dogs in general.
Wow. Okay. So it's more than just grammar. It's like the secret sauce of French.
Exactly. Once you get that, you unlock a whole other level of fluency. All right. We've conquered definite articles, the pointing words. What's next on our article adventure? I think that's indefinite articles.
Yeah. You're right on track.
Un and un. You see those a lot in Pronunciator.
Yep. So those are basically like the English a or an. They introduce something that's not specific, something you're mentioning for the first time, or something you're talking about in a general sense.
So if I'm in a store and I need a pen, I would say, je cherche un stylo. I'm looking for a pen. Any pen will do.
Exactly. You're not looking for a specific pen. You just need one that writes. And just like with the definite articles, un is for masculine nouns and un is for feminine.
Okay, got to keep those genders straight. But I do remember something kind of tricky from Pronunciator. Contractions with indefinite articles. Something about de plus un becomes de.
Excellent memory. Yeah, so that's a contraction that happens when de comes before un.
Yeah.
De meaning of or from.
Okay.
So, for example, the page of a book would be la page d'un livre.
Right. De.
Exactly.
Okay, much smoother.
Yeah.
Sounds way more French. I think I'm starting to think in articles now.
That's the goal. The more you immerse yourself, the more natural these things will feel.
Okay, feeling good about definite and indefinite. But there's a third type lurking in Pronunciator. Partitive articles. And those seem really tricky.
Yeah, they can be a bit more subtle, but they're really important for mastering French.
Okay, let's demystify those.
Let's do it. So partitive articles, we've got du, de, la, and de.
Yeah, and Pronunciator mentions those are for uncountable things. But what does that actually mean? Like, when do I use which one? Du, de, la, de.
It all comes down to gender and number again.
Okay.
Just like with the other articles. So du is for masculine, singular, uncountable nouns, like du pain, some bread.
Okay.
Du la is for feminine, singular, uncountable nouns, so de la musique, some music.
Okay.
And then de is for any plural, uncountable noun, doesn't matter the gender, so like des fruits, some fruits.
Okay, so same gender and number rules, but for stuff you can't really count. But why even have separate articles for that? Why not just say some?
Well, because French, it's all about nuance. So think of it this way. When you use a partitive article, you're talking about like a part of a whole, the unspecified amount.
Okay.
So let's say you're at a market and you want some cheese.
Right.
You wouldn't say, je voudrais un fromage. I want a cheese.
Right. No, that sounds weird.
Yeah, you'd say, je voudrais du fromage. I would like some cheese.
Ah, okay, so you're not asking for the whole wheel of cheese.
Exactly, just a portion.
So du fromage is like, give me some of that cheese, please.
Exactly. And this is important for when you talk about liking things.
Okay.
So, j'aime le chocolat. I like the chocolate.
Yes.
It means you like chocolate in general. But j'aime du chocolat. I like some chocolate means you're enjoying some maybe right now.
Whoa. That's subtle.
Yeah.
But I see it. Like mastering this would make my French sound so much more natural.
Exactly.
But pronunciator mentioned something about partitive articles in negative sentences, like they disappear.
Ah, yes. You're right. That's something that trips a lot of people up. So in negative sentences, du, de la, and des, they're all replaced by just de or des before a vowel sound.
Okay.
So, je voudrais du fromage. I would like some cheese. Becomes, je ne voudrais pas de fromage. I wouldn't like any cheese.
Wait, so the do just vanishes.
Yep.
That's weird.
I know it seems counterintuitive, but it's because in French, the ne pas is already indicating that there's like an absence of something.
Right.
So using do, which implies a portion, would be redundant.
Okay, I think I'm getting it.
Yeah.
So the do doesn't fully disappear. It just kind of transforms into de to fit with the negative.
Precisely. And it's those little details that really make a difference.
Yeah, this is all so helpful. I feel like I'm finally cracking the code of these articles. But speaking of tricky, I remember in Pronunciator, they had some questions about articles with places, like countries and stuff. And I was always confused about when to use an article and when not to.
Yeah, that's a common struggle. So there are specific rules for countries and geographical areas.
Okay, let's go there. To those geographical articles.
Let's do it. All right, so geographical articles.
Yeah, every country seems to have a different rule.
Well, it can seem that way, but there is a method to the madness.
Okay.
So with most countries, you just use the definite article, like in English.
Right.
So la France, le Canada, les États-Unis. Just like you say, the France, the Canada, the United States.
Okay, straightforward enough.
Yeah.
But I'm sure there are exceptions. It's French.
Of course. One common one is with countries that have like feminine adjectives in their name.
Oh, right. I remember seeing this in Pronunciator.
Yeah. So, for example, La République Dominicaine,
Yeah.
the Dominican Republic.
Okay.
So even though Dominican is an adjective, the article agrees with the noun République, which is feminine.
Ah, so it's all about that main noun, not
Yeah.
the adjective. Okay, that makes sense. I think I got that one wrong in Pronunciator, actually.
Yeah, it's a subtle detail that can trip you up. But with practice, you'll start to see the patterns. And then there are a few countries that just don't take any articles at all.
What? No articles. Who are these rebels?
Well, Cuba is one. You just say Cuba.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah.
It's like those countries are saying, we're independent. We don't need your articles.
Exactly. They march to the beat of their own drum. But these are just a few examples. From the whole world of French articles, there's so much more to explore.
My head is spinning, but in a good way. It's amazing how much depth there is to these seemingly simple little words. You know what's really clicking for me is that these articles are kind of like puzzle pieces. And they all fit together to create the full picture.
I love that analogy. That's perfect. Yeah, each article plays a specific role in the sentence, and it's all about understanding those roles and using them correctly.
And I bet Pronunciator really helps people master all this, especially those going for the certificate, like me.
Oh, for sure. Pronunciator is like your personal French grammar coach.
Okay, I'm feeling so much better about tackling those Pronunciator lessons now with all this new knowledge. But before we go, is there any final wisdom you can share about articles? Like a secret tip to help us on our way to fluency?
My advice is to just embrace the challenge. Don't be afraid to make mistakes, to experiment, to ask questions. The more you engage with the language, the more those articles will become natural for you.
That's inspiring. Well, to all our fellow French learners out there, keep practicing, keep exploring, and keep those ears tuned for more deep dives into this amazing language.
And remember, the journey to fluency is a marathon, not a sprint. So pace yourself, enjoy the process, and celebrate each milestone along the way.
Beautifully said. And with that, we'll say au revoir. Until next time, bon courage with your French adventures.